Hi y'all, so today we're going to be talking about the Helena, a tier 7 light cruiser, and it's a damn good cruiser within tier 7. It's got the third best in class in tier DPM for HE, and it only falls behind Atlanta and Flint for this, so Helena puts out a lot of damage really quickly, and really no matter what you're up against, if it's a poorly positioned DD, a mid-range cruiser that's just trying to not get dev struck, or a battleship that's just letting you farm, Helena puts out a lot of damage. She's also got the traditional US floaty ballistics, and she's got good concealment, so she's really good at farming enemies in island camping, so long as you understand basic light cruiser gameplay. I'm going to assume you do for the purposes of this review. So we're going to go through everything one by one and, just kind of review the ship. So, in the way of armor, it's a light cruiser. It's not that good. It's 16mm absolutely everywhere, so that means any gun over 230mm overmatches you, and that's every battleship in the game, and if you get pushed up to tier 8, tier 9, that's going to include some cruisers as well. So you're going to get overmatched a lot. The deck is 25, but it doesn't change a whole lot because Helena's Citadel is very long. Luckily, it only sticks out above the water in the middle, but it's a very long Citadel, and any kind of plunging fire is just going to just nuke you. You might survive, and in close range, most people will just overpen because the actual above water Citadel is very small, but any plunging fire is just going to absolutely ruin your day. The health pool is rather decent though at 33.3k, assuming you're not running Survivability Expert. Helena's basically defining feature is her firepower. She's got insanely high HE DPM and extremely floaty arcs, and with the 25mm pen on it, assuming you're tier 7 or below, you have very free damage, because you'll pen pretty much everything. If you get pushed up into 8 or 9, that's still okay. That just means you're going to have to aim for superstructure and battleships, and that's still not hard to do. The shell alpha is low at only 2200 on the HE rounds, but you have 15 of them, so it's pretty forgivable. The 12% fire chance is very good. It's a great fire starter in tier, and assuming the RNG plays your way, you will keep fires on things. Very useful for perma-firing battleships, because tier 7 battleship players tend to not be the best with their DCP. Everything else about her gunnery too is satisfactory. The turret traverse is solid, the accuracy's good, the armor piercing it's okay. I don't really talk about it in this review. It's just not super useful given it's only 152mm and the HE is so good. Of course, if you run into a broadside cruiser like 6k, you can load AP, but more often than not, HE is just so consistent and reliable that it's not really worth using armor piercing. Of course, we both know that the depth charge airstrikes and anti-aircraft are completely irrelevant, but for the sake of review, the airstrikes are fine, they're just short at 6 kilometers, and her AA is relatively good in tier, but it's AA, so carriers are still going to get through you. As for her agility, it is good. It's 32.5 knots base and a 9.1 rudder shift base, and that's really good. It's absolutely not amazing, but it's fairly reliable, especially given her tier. The concealment is only 10.4 kilometers with CE, which obviously should be running. So this is very safe. It is a very safe cruiser. It's not absolutely standout in the realm of agility or concealment, but it's good enough. It's on the higher end of the tier. It's in the better end of the tier. So it's perfectly fine. Honestly, for what Helena does, it is a perfectly fine agility and concealment to work with. You can play her aggressively. It is risky. She does work reasonably well for kiting because the turret angles are workable. You just have to remember that battleships at range can just nuke you outright if you're not really comfortable with your rudder. Of course, keep track of enemy DDs because radar is not proliferant in this tier, and if you accidentally get caught off guard by a DD, well, you're probably just dead because battleships. Of course, you can absolutely smash them, so maybe play aggressively if you have radar on your side. Otherwise, keep yourself safe. All of her consumables are just kind of okay. The Def AA and Fighter are just meme consumables. That's all they are. That's all they ever have been. And the Hydro is just standard. It's just 3km torps, 4k ship. It is perfectly standard. It is perfectly normal. For your ship-specific upgrades, take main armaments 1, engine and protection, aiming systems, and then your slot 4 can either be prop or steering. I prefer steering. I find having a better rudder is just more valuable on the whole. I find it matters more because you won't be getting hit as often and you're a bit better of a kiter. But if you're island hugging, prop works too. Both of them are perfectly fine. I just prefer steering gears for the way I play light cruisers in general. And of course, she runs perfectly standard US light cruiser captain build. It's pretty much the same captain build that the heavy cruisers run, so it's a pretty safe captain build. On the whole, she's really good. I really like her. She's super useful in ranked, especially when tier 7 is top tier, because of her sheer damage output, she just melts things. I mean, yes, she doesn't have a radar like some of the other good tier 7 cruisers are, like Helena or Belfast or Indianapolis, but because she brings so much damage to the table, and consistent, reliable damage at that, compared to Atlanta, which has a radar, it's very, very safe pick. She doesn't have as much utility as you might want for ranked, but she does have enough damage, especially if it's only tier 7 or, say, 6-7, like it is at time of production, that you have enough damage to force win games, if you know what you're doing. In randoms, she's just reliable. She's easy to farm with. That's really all you can want out of a boat in randoms. She's just really easy to farm with, and assuming you don't get up to straight a 9, she's survivable enough that as long as you know how to use your rudder and your detection, she'll treat you very, very well. She doesn't lack anything at all. Like, there's nothing on Helena that I say, oh boy, I wish she had this. I have never had a situation in Helena where it's like, I really wish my Helena had better rudder, better armor. Pretty much any adjustment you'd make to her that would be a buff would probably just push her right into being overpowered. Like, yeah, it would be awesome if she had a radar, but then she would be completely busted in tier 7. Like, there's nothing you can really do to her without making her broken, so she's just really good. I really, really recommend Helena. I think she's absolutely worth your time. She's one of the very few tech tree boats I've kept around, specifically for ranked, because I do believe she's that good. It's just a shame that Helena and Cleveland are the highlights of the US Light Cruiser line right now, and then once you get through Cleveland, you might as well stop, because there's sure no reason to play Seattle or Worcester in this year.